This presentation is on implementing a results orientation in professional learning communities in junior high STEM by Blair O'Connor for the Professional Development and STEM Education class at Texas Tech University. Many teachers find themselves in a position in which there is little to no time to collaborate with peers during the school day. According to Chenoweth, the American tradition of teachers working in isolation is not linked to student success. Rather, she argues that teacher collaboration is one of the key building blocks to increasing student achievement. While a lack of collaboration can lead to negative effects on student achievement, Riegelman and Rubin suggest that when teachers engage in collaborative practice, student achievement can be increased. One method to ensure that teachers are collaborating effectively is by implementing professional learning communities, or PLCs. When teachers are engaged in the PLC process, they are not only collaborating on instructional practices, but are also provided the opportunity to act on the information and strategies within a PLC. According to Cantor, effective change has 3 attributes. 1, the ability to innovate. 2, the professionalism to perform. And 3, collaboration. Cantor also stated that to effect change, good leaders do not just monitor their organization, but are also opportunists who are attuned to the scouting of new ideas and innovation. Hodges also stated that to enable change, leaders must establish a purpose for the change, as well as build commitment and collaboration amongst their workers. For a PLC to be properly implemented at a school, the current status quo needs to be challenged, and coalitions need to be made between school leaders and key teachers who can help to facilitate those needed changes. Research has established that PLCs can be a means to increase teacher efficacy and student achievement, as well as lead to school-wide improvement through continuous improvement in educational practices. In other words, teachers must collectively work towards school-wide improvement. This type of interaction where teachers work together as a team and undergo the collaborative inquiry process in a PLC is also known as a professional network or collaborative team. For the collaborative culture of a PLC to work, teachers need to be collaborating the correct way. That is, that they are not meeting just to meet, but their focus is on increasing student achievement. The term professional learning community has been overused in the educational realm and has often been used to label any functioning group of teachers. However, this abuse of the term PLC has led to faulty implementation of PLCs in many school districts. In fact, the school district in which this organizational change takes place does not have any PLC policy at all, so teachers are not given the opportunity to collaborate in PLC. However, the school in which this organizational change takes place meets for PLC once per 6-week grading period. These PLCs are used for planning calendars for the following grading period without the use of any data other than the state assessment of academic readiness, which is the Texas State STAR exam. This PLC time is an all-day planning period with little innovation seen. Departments at the school also meet once per week during their common planning period with the principal and the academic facilitator. The academic facilitator is responsible for helping all core teachers implement strategies to increase student achievement. However, during these meetings, there is little time for planning to implement any new strategies being presented. Furthermore, the focus of data comes from the state assessment rather than ongoing formative assessments, which should be being used frequently in the classroom. According to DeFore, effective collaboration does not include meeting just to meet, yet the times these teachers are actually able to collaborate end up being just that, a meeting. Additionally, the general feeling among teachers at this school is one of being overwhelmed. In addition to the district initiative to implement writing across the curriculum, this school is also implementing several other initiatives to increase student achievement. While all of the initiatives are well-intentioned, Hattie has claimed that sometimes school-wide interventions serve as more of a distraction rather than a tool to increase student performance. Instead, he suggested that by focusing on teacher effectiveness so that all teachers can perform at the levels of the best teachers, student achievement will also follow. Additionally, DeFore stated that when trying to properly implement PLCs, schools need to trim the fat. In essence, that means cut out initiatives which do not have evidence of student progress, and in this manner, teachers are more able to focus on the core tenet of their job, which is to increase student achievement. One department-wide goal this year is to close the achievement gap between the lowest and highest performing subpopulations on state assessments. In order to do this, teachers have all agreed to monitor the specific data on all tests and district assessments given throughout the year. The goal of my organizational change model is to first make department weekly meetings more efficient in terms of collaborating over formative data to engage in a process of continuous improvement and ongoing monitoring of student progress. The second goal is to use this data to target students in need to decrease achievement gaps. Third, I want to make the PLC days for each grading period focused on allowing time for formative assessment and its subsequent data analysis when planning 6 weeks calendars. I would like to see teachers working as collaborative teams both vertically and horizontally as well. Oftentimes, educational initiatives are top-down. They often have little buy-in from teachers and therefore there's little success with them in the classroom. However, when it comes to PLC, DeFore insists that effective PLC implementation must be top-down and starts with effective leadership. So a well-functioning PLC community needs to have a principal not acting as a curricular leader, but rather as a leader of learners with the principal at the forefront of that learning. Strong principal leadership coupled with well-placed key teacher leaders will help to increase buy-in for organizational change such as a PLC, as well as ensure its success. So at the beginning of this school year, I met with the principal of the school in order to gauge his understanding of the characteristics of effective PLC. He does understand that PLC should revolve around summative and formative data. He also wants teachers to be more able to effectively implement formative assessment when planning, as well as dissect that data to identify students in needs, and then apply targeted intervention in order to increase their achievement. However, in the past, this principal has had a top-down approach when implementing initiatives. He is seen among the staff as a disseminator of information rather than a leader of learners. While this has impeded the work I have tried to do this semester, it can still be overcome. So to further organizational change at the school, I plan on working with the principal to gather teacher feedback and collect evidence as to which initiatives are showing progress and increasing student achievement and those which are not. From there, while working with the administrative team, we need to take steps to moving forward and embracing the PLC process, whose central focus is on increasing student achievement and make sure that our teachers aren't stretched so thinly. Additionally, I would like to see the principal begin to shift his modus operandi from directive leader to a leader of learners by taking part in collective inquiry when teachers are dissecting data from assessments and making plans for targeted intervention for struggling students. Effective change cannot happen without a coalition. I nor the administration can implement an effective PLC alone. The principal has strategically chosen department heads who are innovative leaders willing to try new things and who are effective problem solvers. Additionally, the department heads are all good at helping to build camaraderie amongst their teachers as well as increase buy-in for new initiatives. To maximize their expertise, prior to introducing characteristics of effective PLCs to teachers, I started with the department heads. This way, I can use their leadership to help foster the collaborative culture necessary for PLC functionality. 2 departments were immediately willing to begin to implement this process, and so these were the content areas I focused on this semester. After establishing clear administrative goals, in terms of the purpose of PLC, I will work with these teacher leaders in the departments to establish goals and norms for each content area which are aligned with school and district goals for student achievement. Maintaining a results orientation has and will continue to be our priority with specific emphasis on frequent gathering of formative data to ensure student progress and plan interventions when it is not demonstrated. After the administration and department heads were all on board with the PLC process, I began to train the teachers. This started during the weekly department meetings where I first provided professional development over the purpose of PLC as well as the importance of gathering ongoing formative student data. During the remaining meetings each month, I relied on the academic facilitator and department heads to provide ongoing support to develop teacher proficiency in the PLC process. However, as has been established, making the change to a more results-oriented teaching group has been difficult. Teachers need time to collaborate over lesson design and data. However, frequent administrative meetings have really impeded this practice. As the principal is a key stakeholder in this organizational change, I keep frequent contact with him as to the progress of implementing effective PLC practices. Yet, despite amicable meetings, nothing seems to be changing from his part. In the 4 weeks that I have been trying to implement these changes, we have been able to have 1 meeting dedicated to data analysis, while the rest have been technology trainings or dissemination of district information. In order to continue this organizational change, I will have to maintain my relationship with the principal, as well as continue to enforce that PLC requires collaboration time for the teachers and that we should be looking at data in an ongoing manner. We don't need to be meeting just to meet. Information can be disseminated in other means besides taking up teacher time, which could be used to target students who need it. By the end of the year, it is my hope that I have sufficient data collected from observations, lesson plans, and teacher surveys which support the concept of a weekly PLC period for all core content area teachers. However, as this process is ongoing, teachers, department heads, and administrators will need continued support in implementing PLCs. So throughout the next year, I will continue to provide support and professional development to the school while relying on the department heads to continue to foster effective collaboration.